the market just did something which we are all looking at right now. If you're awake, you're looking at your portfolio, you are noticing something. So you come here on the Bitcoin chart, and Bitcoin does show you that it is breaking out from a pattern which is bearish. If you look at the history of this particular pattern, historically, majority of the time, you see these patterns that break to the downside. And if it's breaking to the upside, what's your measured move? That's what we are interested in. This is the measured move. So if you get a confirmation here, prepare for that idea, you are going to go 72% higher. Where does that take us? That takes us all the way up to 34,000, close to that, $34,000 Bitcoin. Now, is it just Bitcoin showing this variation in the market after spending a long time here? No, we just saw Ether doing the same. So right now, Ether just went through all of these resistance, which we were talking about before it happened, saying, okay, this is the Wyckoff range, and if we break through this, this is going to be monstrous, right? The bullish attitude is slowly coming back into the market. Now, we do have to realize this is the medium-term resistance, and you're trying to break that. So if you're able to close this daily or the next one, or at least this entire week about that, this is going to be changing attitudes. Because here, before we started moving, I was talking to my members and saying, okay, if this breaks lower, it will be like most expected. It's like nothing changes. Everyone is waiting for that. But if this breaks higher, that will be the unexpected for the majority. So most likely, before November 3rd, we are going to see this, because the pattern was almost ending and you were waiting to do something and the price just moved higher. Now, we also talked about different assets, saying, okay, we broke lower. This is a bearish pattern. We broke lower, but I think before the next leg down, I think we are going to have a bounce and retest for this level. So now look at Cardano where it is, and you will understand what we were talking about. And, that's for something happening in the market. Now, if you are there in the market, make sure you are looking at each asset in your portfolio with respect to what the market is doing. If it's something like this and it's having hard time to go back above this level, that may not be the great thing to do, because if other coins are retesting after the break to the upside, this may get rejected here. That's a bad sign. But if it gets above that, it's a great sign. So let's break these down. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal common guys come and learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. Did we talk about this? Yes, we did. Did we talk about this? Yes, we did, because the pattern here is identifying a Wyckoff suggestion, saying, okay, we are trying to move back up. So your last point of support, or the LPS, shows you it does matter, because you are getting that trend, which is MACD is in the positive range. It's bouncing. RSI is bouncing even before testing the support line, saying bulls are a little bit eager right now. And that's why when this goes up, now I didn't think like it's going to happen today itself, but that happened in the market. So now you're going into the market and asking this question like, okay, what are we really doing? What are we really looking at? Because understand this, for me, this is a pattern which breaks to the downside 70% of the time, say 68% of the time. But when that breaks to the upside, remember this, bearish pattern breaking bullish changes a lot of things. Now, on the other side, we were talking about this too earlier today, saying, okay, dollar is breaking lower. Because when dollar goes down, your asset, which is denoted in dollar based currency, that means you are going to get more for that, because it's against dollar. But not everyone will be bullish, because that's why I'm saying, like, not everyone will have same ideology. Everyone will have different thought process. Now, the way Laya is actually looking at it, it will be completely fine for her. But we need to actually wait and see whether we are going to go make another bottom. So for that, the biggest question or the challenge here is, are we going to break this? Because if you break this and then you're coming here to break this level, I will being frank, I will not expect the price to come back all the way down to 17, 15, whatever they are talking about. Because this for me is an accumulation range for 5 months. 5 months. And if you are breaking through that, that does mean something. Because now on the daily chart, this is what you're looking at. Your RSI is breaking through something. Great. Fine. Now, there will be suggestions from the charts. You go look at the macro, and we've been talking about this double bottom possibility for some time. And now we want to know whether the RSI suggests us that we are going to go about this, right? So you zoom in, you want to get the right perspective, not the wrong one. So you are trying to connect all of these resistance, which happen to be there in the market. So you kind of go for the standard deviation, average, everything together. And then you observe that we had a fake out before, but right now you're going up because last fake out did not end up bearish. It was riding that trend line to the upside. So that for me, I'm not a Bitcoin bull, understand that, but money is going in there. We talked about that in the last video when everyone was bearish, right? Now you go look at the MACD. Inside this, it does show you that there is room for upside and your resistance is going to be somewhere here. So you're still traveling to that direction and your base happens to be somewhere here. In between, you put in this and this high, you broke that one. So now, until this one breaks or reaches here, I would say we still have room to the upside. Now, in between, can the market do corrections? Or it should do corrections. Or in other words, I would say that should be a retest. Now, when you break higher, like these, you definitely would like to actually see a breakout retest pattern. So you go in, zoom in on a shorter time frame chart and ask this question to yourself like, okay, am I really expecting a retest here? Now, the price can literally do that. You broke higher. If you are trying to be conservative, you'll say, okay, we broke higher. We may have a retest. But before that, what we need to keep our eyes on is that on a daily chart, the price is right now about the 20 and 50-day moving average and the RSI broke higher. Now you are targeting your 200-day moving average, which is right now at $25,000, which happens to be somewhere close to this. And remember this, the moving average is above, price is below. That means moving average is being pulled down by the price. So by the time the price reaches here, you will see the moving average coming close. So that range of resistance is going to be key. We need to see that being broken. Otherwise, we may still come back down. But that's where this is important. Looking at Ether for the same pattern you had here, and then you broke higher. So you go look at Ether to see the Wyckoff pattern playing out, because we all know this has to happen at one point, and you're going to try. Now, this is actually a medium-term trend, which we are looking at the resistance all the way from there, and we are trying to break that level. So if you are able to break this, now your measured move is much, much bigger for Ether. Great, but right now what you're looking at is a zoomed-in range of this one. So you literally zoomed into the area from September towards this, and you're saying like, okay, this has been a resistance. Right now we are able to break that level. So this becomes a Wyckoff pattern for short-term traders or for long-term viewers. This is a checkmate pattern which is now turning. Now, with this turning here, did you notice something? Can you see something in the chart? At least for me, I see something like this coming. Meaning, you kind of get all these bottoms aligned. So if you take these lines out and then you look at the price action, you're like, okay, something is happening. Each time you are going down, the supply coming into the market is reducing or the buyers are overriding those, which is bullish because at this point, when you are looking at the RSI, it does suggest you it broke higher, it came lower, retested that and bounced, and it is reaching towards the overbought territory on a 12-hour chart. So you go on a daily and say you do have room to the upside, you can run higher. Great. Then you want to see whether we are starting, at least we are at a starting point on a weekly, because this is what we all want to see. This is macro. So if you are breaking this one here, now things change. If you are in parallel lines, for me, that's corrective trend. You're going to follow the impulse direction. I've been talking about this for at least a year or more. Now, if you break this one, remember that's going to come and you're going to travel into that direction. So you don't want to miss that gigantic move. If the market is doing the wave 2, that's the single biggest move. Now, our favorite asset, XRP. This guy here is not that super bullish today, but what you need to understand is the possibility of this going down to test 0.41 was still there, and it is being supported around 0.44. That is important, because if you are able to bounce from this range, erasing the bearishness which is present in the market. Now, why do I say that? Okay, you can zoom in on a 4-hour or 12-hour chart and look at this. You did not make a lower low. Instead, right now, the price is trying to put in a higher low. So that for me is like, okay, yes, you do have lower highs being printed, but you did not confirm that change in trend as bearish one. You just put in a higher low. So now you're trying to be in a symmetrical range and you need to break through that, right? That's going to be the key factor here. If you break higher, that's really bullish. Now we are going to test that 0.55 range again, which now becomes reaccumulation. So you go look at the Wyckoff pattern. This would be your Wyckoff accumulation range. This would be your Wyckoff reaccumulation range. Now, that's in the Google. You can just go here and type in like Wyckoff accumulation, reaccumulation, whatever, and you will definitely see this. Your range breaking through that, doing the reaccumulation, and then continuing higher. Now, in technical terms, they'll put it in different words, like, the LPS, as I talked last time, the last point of support, and then the price starts the markup. This should be understood by everyone, because not every time you go lower than this to make a spring. It does happen, but not every time. So you are looking at this pattern, you will say, okay, that was a spring event which happened before the price took off. Great. But here you got another example. The last point of support came in before that and you put a double bottom. So that was in the phase C, and then you started making a higher high in phase D. Now you're just entering phase E for XRP as you break through this reaccumulation. So your ultimate stuff, if you are a Wyckoff guy, this is what you're looking at. If you are an impulse based wave trader, you're looking for, okay, this can be possibly wave 1, then wave 2 is going to be 3 to 5 times in crypto. Remember, wave 2 is 3 to 5 times. So you put 3 times, you come somewhere here, 1.4. Then if you're putting 5 times, you go all the way up to $2, close to that. So if next impulse is going to be 1.4 to $2, you really don't want to miss this one, say, denying the fact that you're observing this. Because you step back and you say, okay, this is a macro level of resistance, and if you are breaking through this, I expect the price to go higher, right? You can be on the positive side, you can be on the negative side, but don't get this wrong, because on a daily chart, keep this one reinforced for you. On a daily chart, you are right now above the 200-day moving average and you're trying to bounce off from that, and the 50-day moving average as well. So you came down as this crossed to the upside, you came down. As this crossed to the upside, you came down. We talked about that before. So now when the price bounces, make sure you are in the market and you're steady. Don't go euphoric yet. The price is going up. You are seeing these numbers going green, but that's not completely euphoric. Yes, there will be some assets which are going to take off because their total volume is increasing substantially compared to what it was before, and the market cap is small, and then it blasts off. Now, those are like high risk ones. Now, we do look at that. And if you remember, we've been entering some trades when everyone was saying this is not the right time to enter trades. Stay out of the market. We accumulated some positions in the last couple of months believing these assets are going to do well. And right now, looking at these, yeah, they are starting to break higher. They are moving higher, grinding higher, trending higher. So if you're looking at those, have a look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.